Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Today I'm going to be reviewing this. It's the Adria Matrix Access 520 ST motorhome. For the last 3 months we've been using this loan vehicle from Adria, so I can also tell you what we like and what we don't like about it. We're filming today at Old Oaks at Glastonbury, who've kindly allowed us to film on our pitch while staying here. So back to the review, and what do we need to know? Well, the Matrix 520 ST is a 4-berth motorhome and it's 3.5 tonnes, so you can drive it on your normal car licence. What I particularly like about this motorhome is it's just under 6 metres in length, which makes it really manoeuvrable and easy to use when we've been going out to visit tourist spots and also doing bits of shopping. In terms of its width, it's 2.3 metres in total width, and it's just under 2.9 metres in height. How much is it, you may want to know? Well, the base vehicle is £55,000 and this one with extras is £60,000. The extras on the vehicle are the luxury pack, pack 2 and a 140 watt solar panel. So as we go around, I will make sure I mention which the extras are. So let's make a start. First of all, the ST, it is on the Fiat Ducato chassis. This model is the 2.3 litre engine with 140 brake horsepower. You can also upgrade that to 160 or 180 at an additional cost. And this does have 6-speed manual, and again there's an automatic option. So on the front we've got a white cab. The only thing that's extra on the front as part of a pack are the lower fog lights here. Other than that, this is the standard front as you'd expect on a 520, and we've got this large sunroof at the front that lets in plenty of light as well. We'll come down the off side. Now, as we can see, we've got alloy wheels. These are 15-inch alloys, and these are part of the options pack that I mentioned. Otherwise, it's going to be steel wheels. We do have the heated and electrically adjusted wing mirrors. And on the driver and passenger side, we have electric windows. Coming down further, the decals, it's almost a graphite grey with a bit of a sparkle in on the white sides and cab. Up above, first of all, we've got a wind-out 2-lay awning. Now that's part of the extras pack, and that's been an absolute winner for us. I would say definitely consider investing in an awning on a motorhome. This window here, this is a Dometic slide window, so it does slide from there backwards here, letting plenty of air in. Below that down here, as you can see, LPG, this is where we can store gas. Now you're going to be able to get 2 11-kilogram gas bottles in there, and we've used our safe fill. We've just used 1 gas bottle, and that's 10 kilos is that safe fill. Coming down further is where we find the door. The habitation door, yes, it is on the right-hand side of the motorhome. That is pretty standard on nearly every European motorhome. The only one that I can think off the top of my head that doesn't have the door on the right-hand side is Benimar, but Benimar is actually built for the UK market, but otherwise most European motorhomes you will find the door here. It's a 1-piece door, and we've got a large window here, good for looking out, and internally that has a concertina blind. Also internally we will find the bin situated in the door. A little bit further back we've got the LED light, that is standard, and then we have another window which does open outwards. Back here, this is an excellent addition. This is the garage on the 520. A lot of UK motorhome manufacturers, certainly on a motorhome this size, don't incorporate a garage. And for us, that is quite essential, we've found. The Matrix has got a good sized garage. There's only 1 door entry point, and that is on this offside. There isn't another door on the other side, which I'll show you soon. In there, we've carried 2 chairs, our table, our electric cable, our collapse fresh mini, our collapse pipes, fresh water for drinking. We've carried in there our levelling ramps and various other bits. So instead of them being squashed under the seats in the motorhome, that garage has been fantastic, and that's made us make a big decision for our future purchase with a motorhome as well. So that sums up the offside. I'll come round the back now of the 520. Now, as we can see, it's fairly plain, it's white, we've got the Matrix badge, a little bit of a decal here. Up there we do have the reversing camera. That is part of the extras pack. And then we've obviously got the lights, we've got a high level brake light up there, and then we've got the ladder. This is part of one of the optional extras as well, along with the roof rack bars up ahead on there as well, because although in the UK we don't often use the top of our motorhomes for storage, in Europe people often do put canoes and things on the roof, so that is an optional extra if you want it. If you're wondering how you get on there, inside the motorhome there is a ladder, and that does connect onto there from here, and then you can climb up. It's also useful if you want to wash the roof of the motorhome, obviously. Now we'll come down the near side. Coming down the near side, we can see this is the toilet cassette point. There's no flush because it does flush from the onboard water tanks. Just under here, down in this side here, this is where you're going to find the waste water outlet for emptying the onboard tanks. Now this motorhome will take 85 litres of waste water, so that's a good sized waste water tank. It's also insulated and it's heated. Coming down, we see we have the vents. Now these vents are for the large Thetford fridge and freezer, which we'll see when we go inside. We have here the Truma vent. The Matrix 520 has Truma 4E heating, it's air blown. Now this is where we find our water inlet. The fresh water tank on the Matrix 520 is 100 litres of fresh water, which is more than sufficient, we've found. And then next to it, there's also a pump for the whale pump that we've got with this. So if you are on a pitch for a long time and you don't want to fill up with a hose pipe, you can fill an aquaroll, place the 12-volt pump into here, and then the other end of the pump goes into the aquaroll and the other part goes into there, similar to a caravan setup, but instead of it being powered through this water outlet, obviously it's powered through a 12-volt system here. So you can still run water from an aquaroll if you're on a pitch for a long time. Another large window again that just opens out, and here we've got our electric point, so you can connect up there. And then last but not least, here we find the fuel cap. Now this tank, the diesel fuel on this motorhome, is 65 litres. We find we have been filling up quite regularly because 65 is a fairly small tank, but it also takes AdBlue. It is a Euro 6D engine. The AdBlue is in there, and that's a 19 litre tank. We have had to fill that. When we got the motorhome, it already had 2,000 miles on it. When we reached 3,000 miles, the AdBlue warning came on. So we took it to Morrison's filling station where they have AdBlue on the pump, and we added an extra 10 litres of AdBlue into that tank. It cost us £5.70. So if you do have an AdBlue vehicle, it's much cheaper to fill it up at the pump. So that summarises the exterior of the 520. There is a 140 watt solar panel on the roof, which is an option, as I mentioned. You can then also add an aerial or satellite, and it does have pre-installation for air conditioning if you wanted to put aircon on it. So what we'll do next is we'll venture inside and we'll take a closer look at the internal layout of the 520. I'll see you inside. So in the 520, as I mentioned before, it is a 4-berth motorhome, despite the fact it is so compact. You're going to find 2 berths in this lounge area and 2 berths in the drop-down bed, which I'll come to shortly. We'll start up front though. So what we're going to get for our money? Well, we're going to get our captain's chairs, which have armrests and they do swivel. We're also going to find up front the steering wheel, which is leather as part of the options pack. We've got the gears, which again has the leather, and that is an automatic version if you wish. We've got on here as well the DAB radio and the satellite navigation system. That's part of the options that I mentioned before. It has been a good satellite navigation system. You can't program it specific to your sizes that I've discovered, but it's certainly worked very well and hasn't taken us down anywhere we didn't want to go. Also up front, as part of the extra packs, we've got air conditioning in the cab, we've got hill descent, and we've got traction control, and the buttons for those are easily found at the front of the dash. We've also, as part of the packs, got 2 cup holders, which are just down here, perfect for when you go to McDonald's, and we've been there, not through the drive-through because we didn't fit, but we have been there. We also have a little holder here, and then you'll find the USB and a 12 volt. Now the USB will work to charge your phones when the vehicle or the cab is running. However, when it's not running, it won't charge the phones, and then you'd have to use the other USBs that are in the motorhome, and they're situated just here to my right hand side, and I'll come to those shortly. So that's the cab area, and those are the couple of the extras that we've got up here. Also up here then we've just got a couple of lights and a little bit of storage around us. Now this is the 140 brake horsepower version, so it's the entry level of the engines. We haven't found that to be underpowered, and if I was purchasing one, I would be quite happy just to settle with the 140. Obviously, if you do want a bit more grunt, then there's the 160 and the 180, but don't be put off by the 140. It's a very usable engine. We then move into the lounge area. Now, normally we would have this other chair turned around, my chair turned around, and it gives you a really good space. I know a few people had said, how would we find moving from a caravan to a motorhome and the lack of space? Well, I think this area has probably actually given us more room than we did have in our 8-foot wide caravan. And that's because we've got seating here and here in an L shape, and then we've also got seating opposite as a bench seat. And this table has been absolutely fantastic, where before with the caravan we had to get the table out and try and move around it. This is fixed, but it does slide and move, so depending on where you're sat, if I'm here or there, it moves and slides about easily, but then it will lock for when you're driving. I've really been impressed with this. On a night time when you want to make the beds, you can drop this table down. And what I'll do is I'll explain the bedroom layout now while I'm sat here. So when I talk about the 4 berths, at the moment the motorhome is set up for day mode. Now if you're a couple and you want to use it as a 2 berth, the first option you have is up ahead we have the drop down bed. Now as far as I know, the drop down bed is 2 meters in length this way for the way you'd be sleeping transversely, and it's 4 foot, I believe it's about 4'5" in width that way, so it's the size of a double. If you're a couple, you can either lower the bed to its first position and then use the ladder to climb up and sleep on it there, in which case you wouldn't have to make any changes to this lounge area. If you want to lower it to its lowest setting, which is how we've used it, then what you would have to do is remove the headrests from that part of the sofa, and also these backrests as well, all around, because then when you lower the electric bed, it's going to come all the way down, and these cabinets will meet here. The bed will then be at a height that you can physically climb onto. I do that by stepping up from over there, or it might be that you want to buy a small stool to stand on or use the ladder some way. So it is possible to do that. If you want to use it as a 4 berth, then this lounge area will convert into another double bed, and then you would use the drop down bed above as another 2 berths, and again use the ladder to climb up. So it's up to you how you use the arrangement. What we have found is when you lower the bed, obviously it takes out this lounge area. So on an evening, if somebody does want to go to bed, the other option is for the other person, if they want to stay up, is to sit up here in the chairs, and they can then sit somewhere. But that's sort of been one of the compromises that we've found, is generally when one goes to bed, we all go to bed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move back into the kitchen area and show you that now. So when you come in the door, which is on the off side or the right hand side, the first thing you're going to find is we do have some storage just under the sofa where I've kept my small vacuum and Fudge's lead. The door, we do find a fly screen, and fly screens are on all the windows inside the motorhome. Up above, now this is the control panel for the Truma. As I say, it's the 4E. That's going to give you air-blown heating, and it's also going to give you your hot water. The other panel here, this is the main control panel. There we go. This is the main control panel for the Adria. And on here we've got the awning light, the water pump, the internal lights, and an auxiliary button that doesn't operate anything on this model. In terms of battery power, if you press B1, that's going to tell you the charge in the motorhome cab battery. B2 is going to show you the charge in the habitation area battery. And then we've also got the leveller. Now at the moment we're not on any ramps and we are facing nose down on the pitch for the purpose of filming. So it tells us how out we are. We're at 2.4, so we're quite well down on the nose. This one here, S1, this is the freshwater tank. Now at the moment it's showing at 25%. Obviously if it was full it'd be 100% on this vehicle. That's been really useful for letting us know where we are with our water. So we've never run out and it's been very handy. The red one, R1, that's our waste tank. Again, showing at 0% because we have emptied our tank. But it will give you an idea if you are away of how near you are to that tank being completely full. And we also have a temperature. It'll show us inside it's at 19 degrees in here and outside we're at 12. So I've got on quite well with that little panel. This is the control for the drop down bed. It's literally press it down. Now on this motorhome, this particular one, it's been selected so it will come all the way down. If you are buying one, it might be worth mentioning to your dealer because it does have an automatic stop off at the point it should be and it won't come all the way down. So if you are wanting to be able to use the bed in its fully lowered position, make sure that they disable the safety setting on there for you. So that's that. Now we come back into the kitchen. This kitchen has been a lot easier to use than our caravan kitchen because I've had a lot more worktop space. On this side we've got a couple of light switches that operate the lights around and also another switch there for the awning light. We've got the Adria gas burners. Now these are standard across every Adria. It's Dometic 3 gas burners. There's no option for electric, again standard on Adria and pretty standard across a lot of the European manufacturers. They're not big on electric in Europe. So I've never had an issue with just gas. In the morning I've used that on our gas kettle. The sink, again fairly good size. There is a cover for that as well. I just keep that in here and that also can be used as a chopping board. It just fits over into that space. And for on top of here, if you're wondering where to put your dishes, there's also a dish rack, although again what I use is from B&M. It cost me about £5 and it's a collapsible dish rack and that's a lot easier to use for me. So that's the sink area. We've got the kitchen window and then up above we've got an extractor fan here which operates up here. And if you're wondering about a plug socket, we've got a normal plug socket here for if you do want to use a kettle or toaster or coffee machine. Up above, there's two cupboards. This one has a shelf inside it. I've been keeping porridge in there. And this one is just an open space. I've got my kettle in there. I don't know whether it'd be possible if you wanted a microwave to fit a microwave in there potentially. I don't know. But this motorhome does not have a microwave. Close those down. Now under here, first of all, we're going to find a cutlery tray. Again, pretty good size and a side here for other bits as well. So that's your first pull-out drawer. Underneath the drawer, it's a Thetford dual oven and grill. It's at a fairly good height. It's not too low to the floor. I have used it just a couple of times. And to be honest, I actually found that, whether it was just because it's a different model, became extremely hot, a lot hotter than the oven in our caravan. So whether that was just the way it was, I don't know. But yeah, that was really good. It got up to heat really well and cooks a lot better. There's also a little bit of storage just underneath here. I've kept Fudge's tins of dog food in there and bits and pieces. This isn't a drawer, it's just a little bit of under sink storage. I keep my bin liners in there, so don't be fooled by that one. This slide out drawer though has been very good. What I ended up doing with this drawer is I've actually kept all our plates and cups in here, and if you saw the accessory vlog, we opted for just to carry on using our Vango bamboo set. So they've been very good in the motorhome. They've not been too rattly. So yeah, we've been quite happy with those. And there's also just a little storage compartment down there, which is where I've kept my kettle normally instead of up there. So that's the kitchen space at this level. Behind here, as I just showed you earlier when I opened it, this has been absolutely fantastic. As you can see, it goes all the way back, and in here we've got the various bits. I've got glasses there and drinks, but these shelves, normally I've had more in here, which has kept it all together. We've emptied out because the motorhome goes back next week. But in terms of keeping everything together, breakfast cereals and stuff, these shelves have been absolutely brilliant. Everything's been in place when we've got where we're going. So that's a feature that I do like on this motorhome. And that's as difficult as it is. We'll move across next now. In terms of your clothing storage, there's not a great deal of clothing storage. This is one of the compromises. But if there's only two of you, it's absolutely not going to be a problem. We've used this. It's got up there, you can hook, obviously, clothes on there if you want to hang them. Or if you want to use it like we have, you can just fold your clothes and put them in there. So that's what we've used that for. And it has worked well. The longest we went away for was a week. So we've had a week's clothes in there, not a problem. You're also going to find as well the television area will come in through that point as well. Now down here, I mentioned about the garage, and as you can see, you can access the garage from here as well. And again, that's been really handy because this is where I've kept bottles of water, Pepsi Max and stuff like that, larger bottles. They've been stored just under there, under the chairs. So I can access those from inside the motorhome without having to go outside. So yeah, that's been a feature that I have liked. I'll just come round now. I'll do the bathroom last to show you that. And here we have the Thetford fridge and freezer. I believe this is 165 litres. Obviously top compartment, we have our freezer, which I have certainly used for ice creams and various things. Good size. And then the Thetford fridge itself. So we've got shelving on this side and we've got two slide out compartments. Now these have been good for making sure that when we're driving things haven't been thrown about all over the place. So yeah, I've got on very well with that for touring. My worry was when we were driving, would we arrive somewhere and have all our food everywhere? And the answer's no. I never carried much in the caravan fridge, but this I've been a little bit more happy to do so, and it seems to have worked pretty well for us. So yeah, good. The last thing I want to show you up here above the fridge and freezer, this is where you would keep your television. And as you can see, there's already a bracket there fitted. We haven't had our television in there simply because we haven't watched television. But as you can see, it slides out and then you can sit in the lounge area and watch telly. So that's nice to have that already fitted. And back there, there's a plug socket, there's an aerial, and there's also a connection for satellite as well, if you're wanting to watch satellite through either a bollard or obviously whether you have one installed. So that's this sort of living space. I'll show you next the bathroom, and then after that I'll go through what I've liked and what I've not liked. So let's head on in here. So the bathroom space, you come in. Now what we're going to find, it is a compact bathroom. Let's be realistic, it's a 6-metre motorhome. However, what I have liked is the amount of storage in here. We've got the full mirrored cupboard, and we've got 3 shelves, which has given me loads of room for 2 toiletry bags, toilet rolls, and a few other bits that I have been carrying in here. So in terms of your storage area, yes, it works very well. The mirrors are good as well for when you're getting changed or shaving or doing whatever you're doing in here. Drop down sink. So drop it down, pull out your tap. I've kept my toothbrush and toothpaste there, and it is a good sized sink. The only thing I have found with this is if you turn the tap on and it comes out a little bit quick, it does spray absolutely everywhere. But other than that, it's been a usable sink. Down below, we've got a Thetford toilet, as you would expect. It's a bench toilet, so there's no swivel option there. Now, the shower itself, the shower's all part of this small space, and the shower's just up here. We do have a light as well, and then we've got a hecky that opens for ventilation. The shower works well. I have used it. We are limited on floor space because we do have some intrusion from the wheel arch. And there are, I'll just open this up while you're there, there are screens which pull around. So if you're worried about the water coming out of the bathroom and into the living area, that's certainly not the case. So that's the screens. Now there's a screen that comes across there where I've just shown you, and there's also a screen here which is going to come across and affix here, so your cupboard and your toilet won't get wet. It's a small space, but even Jules has had a shower in here as well, so it does work. You may wonder what's going on here. Well, this is where the ladder is. As I mentioned, the ladder can be used for getting into bed, or it can be used for climbing up on the back ladder to get onto the roof of the motorhome. It's well affixed. There's been no noise from this. It's not come off, it's not moved. So this system works very well. I've used it for hanging my towels on, as you can see, because what I do find is I'm not a big fan of these towel holders up here. There's a bit of movement in them, and I don't particularly get on with those very well. So I've just used this to hang our towels on, which has been a bonus. If you are having a shower, you are best to take this ladder out. You don't want to keep that in here with you. So when I've showered, I've taken it out and just put it in the lounge. So that is the bathroom area. So what have I not overly liked with this 520? Well, I'm going to start in the bathroom because this is where, for me, the biggest compromise has been. And in a 6-metre motorhome, you've got to expect a compromise. I've never yet found any caravan or motorhome that offers it all. So let's start in here. Yes, it's a small and compact space, but it is usable. I've got on fine with the shower and the bench seat toilet. But one thing I've not particularly liked, for some reason, is the drop-down sink. I've not used one before, and I've just not been overly keen on it for some reason. It stops you using the toilet while it's down as well. And I don't know, just for some reason, that is one thing I've just not got on with. I do like a proper fixed sink. And again, that's a personal thing. So that for me is sort of one of the only things I've not liked. I'll venture out now back into the kitchen area. And this is one of the other things I've noticed. And this might not be a problem for people that are probably around 5'10" or taller, but if you're small like me, I'm 5'4". In the kitchen, there's 2 overhead hecky lights, as you can see. Now, in warm weather or when you're cooking, you're going to want to open those. The problem is, at 5'4", I can't actually open those. I'll show you on that one. I can't reach to open them, and I certainly won't be able to close them. If you're tall, you're not even going to be concerned about that. But if you're small like me, you are, because you can't close them or open them. And the problem I would foresee is, although Jules could do it, if he went out and then the heavens opened, I'm a bit stuck in here and there's nothing to stand on, and I don't fancy carrying around, you know, a step. So that was sort of the second thing that sort of was a bit of an issue. The other thing was charging phones and having a plug socket on an evening. Now, when I was up front earlier, I showed you where there was a plug socket and the USBs. Now, the USBs obviously are under the drop-down bed. When we've had the bed drop down completely, those USBs actually touch the sofa cushions, so they're completely redundant. You can't really get to them, which then means you've got to try and negotiate your way around the fabric of the drop-down bed to get to the plug socket. So what I would have liked to see is some more USBs in here to make that a little bit more usable, especially on a night time when I would want to charge my gadgets. So on the face of it, that has really been the only things that I haven't got on with, which are pretty minor things really, in terms of a compromise. If you ask me what I have liked or what I have got on with, the list probably really does go on. And I won't bore you because it does go on. The lounge area is excellent. The floor space, because we haven't got a fixed bed, it's excellent. We've had Fudge in here, which, you know, Fudge takes up a lot of room, but we have been able to manoeuvre around him. I've really liked the extra kitchen space, which I didn't have in our caravan. I've enjoyed that. This storage facility here, that's been excellent. The little garage at the back, that is brilliant. And the big Thetford fridge freezer, again, brilliant. What I'm going to say before I summarise though is this experience has been really beneficial because we've never used a motorhome before, and it might be that you're sort of in a similar position. And the question for us is fixed bed or drop-down bed. The drop-down bed has allowed us to have a 6-metre motorhome, and this little motorhome has been phenomenal for getting where we needed to be. We have been all over. You've seen on our vlogs that we've done. We've parked in car parks. Yes, I've been to the McDonald's, I've drive-through, but not through the drive-through. We've been to supermarkets and retail parks. You can park this really easily. The compromise is you're going to have a drop-down bed or one that you make up. And that on a night time, I can see that coming a little bit tedious after a while, for me personally. And that's made me think that I would rather go a little bit longer on the motorhome and have a fixed bed. And that is what this whole experience has maybe sort of given me. Jules, on the other hand, prefers the drop-down bed. And to give him his dues, he's the one that has been in charge of dropping down the cushions and all the rest of it. So for him, that hasn't been a compromise. So it is really a personal thing. So what I would say is, if you're interested in a motorhome, is maybe hire something first. That would give you a good idea of what you might like in a motorhome. We'll bob out now and we'll just finish this vlog, and then we'll leave it there. So I'll see you back outside. So there you have it, the Adria Matrix Access 520 ST. You've heard what we like, we've heard what we haven't liked as much, and it's given us a really good idea about what we want in a motorhome going forward. Hopefully that's been some of interest to you if you're considering purchasing a motorhome or even the 520. I would say the 6-metre length makes it a very usable vehicle. I would just like to say thank you to Adria, who have kindly loaned us this for the last 3 months, and I'd like to say thank you to Shield Total Insurance, who have insured it for us, because without them we wouldn't have been able to insure it and use it for the loan period. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.